So if I'm going to go ahead and do this, I might as well go ahead and do this right. I said I was going to go ahead and set the record straight. So that's exactly what it is I'm doing this early Friday the 13th morning. How ironic is that? The day for the Moors, a Moorish holiday. Islam Moors, Islam to any Moors out there. I myself, self law and master, I am a Moor myself. I just want to go ahead and talk about this situation real quick before I even begin because it has to be addressed. Because I said I was going to go ahead and do it. So I got to honor my own word. Okay, so with the whole Aleister Ducatia situation, a lot of things that was said, done, that was misinterpreted, deeply misinterpreted. So let's get to it. So number one, um, there was a situation that came up with myself and Aleister, excuse me, where he got off the radio and I had texted him and I was saying something to the effect of, "You may have sounded, I'm tired." Excuse me. Damn. Um, I didn't actually mean to insult you. That's not what it is that I was doing. What I was doing is I was basically saying that you sound tired of repeating yourself over and over and showing improving uh, your perspective many different times, and you sounded tired of showing improving it, but at the same time, um, people, some people not necessarily really understanding it, some people even fighting against it, and some people even doing the best that they can to not only fight against it, but to try to trick you out of or stop you from being who and what you are. That's what I mean by sounding tired. Because good morning. Because that's what I meant by you sounding tired. I meant no disrespect. What I meant in intention that was was mistakenly perceived by you was you perceived it as I was saying that you're old and tired and you're washed out. That's not what it is I was saying. I was basically saying how long. I was basically asking a question of how many times can you show and prove something before people get it through their thick head, and that they have a great opportunity or gift horse that's looking at them, and that they refuse to look at the gift horse and understand what it is that they're really looking at. Okay, so that covers that. Now, the other thing that I was talking about, I was putting into question, and see, that's another thing too that I got to really talk about. The other thing I was talking about is that I was putting into question you and your wife. Number one, I never said anything about your kid. And if you don't believe me, you can go ahead back and check. I never said anything about your child. I won't even mention his name, but I never said anything about him. What I was doing is that I was calling into question the fact that at the time it just seemed like you were distant and was like not really ever having a chance to actually build with me the way that um, I would have liked, because I don't have anyone to really talk this stuff to and really just celebrate this with at all. You know what I mean? Um, so as a result of this, it hurt. Basically, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? It hurt, and I was calling into question. Well, why is it that how do I say? Why is it that it always seemed like you dipped out? So put that on the record, and like I said before, it hurt to know that I really don't have anybody to build on this science with, to build on this creed with, and at the same time, it seemed like, once I find myself in a situation where I'm welcomed in that sense, uh, yes and no, in the sense of, yes, I'm welcome as far as the creed is concerned, but not really ever having anybody to build with. And and I'll say, you know the type of situation that I was going through at the time. I was basically like losing my mind. I was basically, you know what I mean, really suffering from a quote unquote low self esteem, or whatever it is that you want to call it, where, them people in the neighborhood around 2011 to about 2013 was really giving a more hell. You know what I'm saying? It was really like banging, on me type of situation because of these, these wild mestizos. So what happened here is that there it is. I put it on record. I'm not even so sure I is even going to see this, but I put it on record. That's what it was, and there's no hard feelings as far as me. Uh, there's never been any kind of hard feelings as far as, how it is that I perceive you, or you know what I mean, or I perceive you in a kind of a way where I dislike you. It's never been any of that type of stuff. It's always been just, sometimes really difficult to listen and watch your videos, because it's like, to know that, to know that everything that I say is going to be perceived as wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or going to be perceived as sleight of hand, misleading, ill begotten, forsaken. It's like, that's not what it is. You know what I mean? That's not what it is. So there it is. I put it on record. It is what it is. I don't know what else to say. The ball's in your court now. Text me, don't text me. Either way, there's no bad blood between us, at least on my side. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So please make sure to get this book, everyone. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video. If you'd like to contact me for a personal reading, my email address as well as the prices are in the description box below. So the cards that I came up with for the Aries are the Queen of Cups, Ten of Swords, Three of Swords, the Ace of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, the Hierophant, Two of Swords, the Hermit, Page of Wands, and then you have the Star card. So what's going on here for the Aries is that this is pretty much a situation where a friend is very appreciative that you gave them some advice. They took your advice. It's working for them, where they're learning to mend their own broken heart of a past relationship that didn't really work out the way that they wanted it to. But they now understand why it is that you Aries are kind of not really looking, and more so of the aspect of just being honest. Not just being honest or more honest, but more so about not really wanting to tie anyone's hands and feet. Not trying to get anyone in a relationship, more so dealing with the capacity as far as the actual person, and then having fun with the person, right? And then letting them breathe and leaving them alone, essentially. So in other words, friends with benefit situations, but with a little bit more benefits, right? Because you actually have an intimate relationship. You actually have a connection without a personal relationship there. You understand what I'm saying? A monogamous one. So as a result of that, what happens here is, and indications of that, Three of Swords, Ace of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, right? Ten of Swords, right? Queen of Cups, which is about the person's, not Aries in the situation, the other person's. It represents the person's, them seeing things from your way, or them reflecting on the things that you have said, and as a result of that, understanding your perspective more and more, enough to be able to make it their own perspective. So as a result of this, this is right. So as a result of this, this is also about, as a result of this, this is also about how it is that they see things from your way as well. And also from that perspective, you, Aries, building with them more on that and letting them know that you're not coming from a place of malice when you say that you don't necessarily want a relationship. It's more so about not wanting to have your hands tied or the other person's hands tied. So it's really about interacting with the actual individual as opposed to, thank you. It's more so about interacting with the actual individual as opposed to trying to escape your own loneliness. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has that problem on earth. Everybody has that problem where they feel, uh, uh, where they perceive themselves as no one else caring about them. And the thing about it is that everyone within their own way, healthy way, of course, has to pull their own selves up on out of that level of perception. Now, some people have, you know what I'm saying, I myself included, you know, some people have, but at the same time, unfortunately, the majority, and the reason why I'm saying the majority, even though it's physically impossible for me to know, 6.9 billion people on Earth, is because all you have to do is just pay attention to the madness that's going on out here, and then you'll be able to observe it on a general massive scale. So you basically help them out in many different ways, Aries, because not only did you help them understand things from a greater perspective, right, or a system, but you also help them get themselves, their own selves, in a position where they can mend that broken heart that they feel where they're alone and no one cares about them. So that's pretty much it, Aries. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share the video. I had to get this out of the way before I messed around and forgot again, because I said I was going to do this, so I'm doing it here. Peace. Hope everybody likes the video.